What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rovardo, and film breakdowns are back. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for the film breakdowns. It's been a minute since I've done one, but I am super excited to go ahead and do one today and talking about the Giants' new quarterback, Russell Wilson. I promised that I would do this episode a while ago, and I'm happy to finally be getting to it. Again, we had to put those on pause for a minute. We've been doing a lot of these live streams. I know you guys have really been loving the live streams, and so have we. It's so much fun interacting with you all in the live chat. But I want to go ahead and break down Russell Wilson's film today and just say this. The deep ball is back. I haven't had it since Eli Manning, but it is finally back, and it feels so good. So I'm really excited to break down this film. But before I do, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, which is Exter. Now, I know we talked about Exter recently on one of our live streams. These wallets are phenomenal. Like, I swear by them. I love them. It's an RFID protected wallet with a slim design and a convenient pop-up mechanism. Go ahead and show you right now. Look, it's like I got a lightsaber. Yeah, isn't that cool? I like it too. I personally think this would make an excellent gift. I never know what to get my dad personally, but this year I'm definitely getting him an Exter wallet. I think this is just so convenient. It's thin, it's lightweight, holds a lot of cards in here, and it's just a really great, well-built wallet as well. And they also have a Finder card, which I think is a novel idea personally and an incredible product. This thing connects straight to your iPhone. So if you ever lose your wallet, say you're out and about, maybe it's just in your car, maybe it's in the convenience store you're in, you don't know. Well, similar to an AirTag, you connect it to your phone and you go on the Find My app and you go ahead, you press a button. Now it's tracking your wallet. It'll tell you exactly where it is. And you can even ask it to play noise for you. So if you're nearby, you'll hear it, you'll know, and you can find your wallet. So I really love the Finder card product as well here that you can get with the Exter wallet. So really great product, guys. Make sure you go check out Exter and enjoy up to 30% off until May 19th. And use our partner link and promo code down below, Fireside, at checkout to get an additional 10% in savings. Go ahead and check out the link down below. But now let's go ahead. No more wallet talk. We're talking Russell Wilson, and the deep ball for the New York Giants is back. And we've shared the statistics with you before, but a quick run through before we dive into the film on Russell Wilson. I've got all 22, and I've really only got all 22 on these deep shots because I just kind of want to marvel at him first and foremost, talk about his accuracy, and take a look at some of the play designs that Pittsburgh was using last year to get the most out of Russell Wilson. But here's the baseline stats that you need to know. Russell Wilson threw 50 deep balls of 20 plus yards last season. That is, first of all, a ridiculous amount. I think Daniel Jones had like 24 in more games played, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, Russell Wilson was airing it out. He only played in 11 games. He threw 50 deep passes, and he completed 50% of them, which is way above the NFL average, like way above. So the exact stats were 54% completion rate, 27 out of 50, 851 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. PFF credited him with 21 big-time throws, which is a 37.5% big-time throw rate, which led the league on 20-plus yard passes. 1 turnover-worthy throw, which is a 1.8% turnover-worthy play rate, super low. Only a 2.75 time to throw average, which I think is actually really impressive. A lot of times on these deeper shots, you see quarterbacks hold on to the ball longer. Russell Wilson just knows where he wants to go with the football, and he gets it out quick, which is something that I do really love and appreciate. So Russell Wilson, the deep ball is back, as I said, and I've said it several times now. Let's waste no more time, man. Let's go ahead, dive right into the film, and take a look at Russell Wilson's 2024 season so we get a better idea of what's to come for the New York Giants in the big 2025. All right, so now we've got the film pulled up. Let's go ahead, waste no more time, as I said, and get right into it. And as you guys know, I do like using my little screen brush app, so expect me to be drawing some plays along the screen. I know you guys do really like it when I do that and try and break down the science behind each throw. So you see Russ Dimes across the bottom of the screen. I do have to give a quick and huge shout out to Hayden Winks on Twitter is where I got this all 22. I do have access to get the all 22 on my own, but he just compiled a bunch of really great clips here for Russell Wilson. So I want to give a shout out to Hayden Winks using his cut up here on Russell Wilson because he just picked some of the best plays. I've watched some of the all 22 on NFL Plus, which I have as well, but Hayden just did a really good job putting together a lot of the throws that I wanted to talk about. So I figured it would just be easiest. Go ahead, grab that, give him credit, and let's keep it moving. So this is against the Baltimore Ravens, as you all can see. And I want to just kind of bring up this first play and show you what I'm highlighting here. And so it does end up in a touchdown. But I want to talk about the word anticipation. So, what I mean is, you're looking at Russell Wilson here, right? And you're seeing a guy, he's looking downfield and he's reading two men here. He's reading this receiver, he's reading this receiver, and it's basically a triangle of defenders that he also has to take a look at. So, he's reading one half of the field, but it's cover two, right? Like you've got two deep safeties here. And so what Russell Wilson is looking at is where do these safeties cheat to? And how does this receiver affect this receiver? And it's all about anticipation and timing on this throw. You could see he's reading this safety. That's exactly where his eyes are headed. And now he's going to look, is this safety going to dart off to the sideline? And if he does, boom, we've got back to the football from the defensive back here. We're going to hit this tight end up the seam. Or does the safety take this receiver away? And can we get this sideline wide open? So as soon as he sees where that safety decides to go, Russell Wilson anticipates that his man will be open, pulls the trigger, and puts the ball in the right space. So I love it. It's a whole shot too. It's a really tight window. I mean, look at the proximity of both of those defenders on this play. It doesn't get much tighter than that in terms of deep throwing windows. So this is really impressive stuff. And actually, if we go back a little bit further here, let's go to when Russ actually unleashes this thing. Let's see. Ready? Throw is here. Does anybody look open? If you just pause the screen right here, does this guy look open? Absolutely not. But as I said, as soon as he saw that this safety chose this guy, that's when he decided to make this throw and found that he had a lot of green space up here. But does this guy technically look open? This cornerback is stride for stride with him. And that's where that big word that I was mentioning comes from, anticipation. He's not waiting for the receiver to break open. He's anticipating he's going to run into an open space, and he's going to put the ball in that space and let him get under it and make the play. And that's what you're seeing here. And this is something that the Giants offense has been devoid of for 5 years, 6 years. It's been really tough to watch, but this is an anticipatory throw. This throw is only made because it's thrown before the receiver is technically open. If he waits for this receiver to get open, oh, now the receiver is technically open. There's some space between him and the defensive back, but now the safety is on his way over, isn't he? So throwing with anticipation makes all of the difference in the world. And it turns a would-be incompletion into a touchdown. Tremendous play here. So let's move on to this next play also against the Baltimore Ravens. And this one as well, we're talking about the A word again, anticipation. Let's see when Russell Wilson releases this ball. Does anybody on that left side of the field look open? No, but he sees that. I think this is Kyle Hamilton here, who in his own right is one of the best young safeties in the NFL, has his back to where Russell Wilson wants to throw this thing. Russ wants to throw this ball over here, over the head of this cornerback and get it to this receiver who's heading this way. And when he sees this safety looking this way, he knows he can anticipate that this safety will not be able to turn around in time and get to the football. Now, this is actually a cover 4 that the Baltimore Ravens are running this time, and this is a coverage that stops deep passes. Like the only way that you throw a touchdown against cover 4 is a lapse in coverage, some sort of a blown coverage or breakdown, or a great anticipatory throw with perfect accuracy and placement. Here, I think you get two things. I think you get that anticipation and that perfect accuracy throw. I also think that you do get a little bit of a blown coverage here. I'm not sure why Kyle Hamilton is turned around. Maybe he was trying to read and see if this guy was going to break over the middle into his zone and try and take that away. But ultimately, he's in bad position. His position should look a little bit more similar to this, where he is in more of a squatted stance and his eyes towards the quarterback. But Russell Wilson recognizes, okay, Kyle Hamilton's eyes are not on me, not on the quarterback. I can anticipate that I can get this thing over his head and into the hands of my playmaker, and that's exactly what he does. So Hamilton sees, I made a mistake. Let me backtrack and try and get into position here. It's already too late because Russell Wilson got that ball out exceptionally early. Again, before the receiver is open. That is not an open receiver right here. This receiver, not open. All right. But this safety is vulnerable, and Russell Wilson takes advantage. That's surgical, that's lethal, and that is 10 Pro Bowls under your belt and over a decade of NFL experience, championship experience. So let's move on to this next play, another one against the Baltimore Ravens here. So we've got a single high coverage look, and we've got an all-out blitz look. This looks like it's going to be a cover 1 man where this would be the one's deep safety in the zone, or it could be a cover zero if this safety is manned up against this slot receiver potentially. And we've got blitzes from all over the place. However, now that the ball has been snapped, we're seeing this guy's retreating. So maybe this is a disguised coverage. Let's roll it through and see what we get post snap. So again, it's a disguised coverage, but the pre-snap look was one deep safety, and bluffing blitz really looks like it's a cover one or cover zero. But let's see how they rotate. Okay, now we've got basically what is called a cover two invert, where that middle safety is going to leak out and play half. This cornerback is going to play half. This safety who dropped down as a fake blitzer is going to play the flats, and this linebacker, it's on him to get deep and fill in this middle portion. This middle linebacker has to get here. This middle linebacker is only here. So we're seeing somebody break over the middle of the field while Russell Wilson is already throwing, I might add. Anticipation. This guy doesn't look open just yet, but it's all about reading and reacting. He saw pre-snap, all right, they might be blitzing this coverage. Let's see what it is post-snap. As soon as he saw that safety bail to the sideline, right, this deep, strong safety here bailed to the sideline, he was like, oh, this isn't a cover one or three or a zero. This is a cover two. The middle of the field is open against cover two, MOF versus cover two. Now I know that I'm going to have a window here, and it's all about a perfectly timed throw to get that ball in there and make a big-time play, and that's exactly what he does. Throws it over the middle of the field. The safety almost gets there. So, maybe I think he pumps this thing. I don't know why. Yeah, he pumps it. Oh, I see exactly why, actually. So the running back picks up a very clutch blitz pickup here. This is a hell of a play by the running back, but the pass rusher does almost get there, and Russell Wilson pumps in order to make sure that he doesn't knock the ball loose and potentially be a safety or a touchdown to the other team, and then rips this throw. And there's a great amount of velocity on that. If you don't put enough velocity on that, that ball's not getting completed because that safety was breaking down hard. Safety recognized, hey, I don't think my linebacker made it to his zone in time. I don't think this is much of a threat over here, even though I'm supposed to be playing a half. I'm going to try and stay a little bit more neutral and break down on this thing, recognizing that there is a seam route up the middle. But Russell Wilson, again, velocity on this pass, gets this ball in there, and he gets it to this guy, and he also does lead him further inside to keep him away from that safety. So big shot, receiver holds on. But again, what we're seeing here, the main takeaway from this play, yes, anticipation, I think, is one of the words that we would take away from this play. But what I'm going to take away is processing, because this is a post-snap process, right? Pre-snap, this does not look like it's cover two at all. This is completely disguised coverage. But post-snap, it turns into something completely different, and that's veteran experience. So some of these buzzwords that you take away from this play, experience and processing, because Russell Wilson's experience lended itself to help him process this coverage post-snap and make a play and throw this ball with a lot of anticipation. So another fantastic play to move the sticks here against the Ravens. So here's another one, another anticipatory throw down the sideline. Let's take a look at what we've got here on the coverage. So I would say pre-snap, what does this look like? Well, we've got two deep safeties. They're pretty close to each other, though. So with two safeties deep, this close, you actually might assume that this is some sort of a cover four. It could be a cover two as well, where these cornerbacks would play more flats. But when you've got two deep safeties, generally you're expecting it to be middle of the field open. But again, because they're so close together, maybe you're not expecting that. But let's see, what does it look like post-snap? Okay, well now all of a sudden it looks completely different, because what we're seeing is man-to-man coverage, and those two deep safeties, one stayed deep to play the middle of the field. The other one dropped into what's called a robber zone, basically playing a hook zone in the middle of the field. So whereas we said the cover two would have the middle of the field open, this cover one man basically keeps that middle of the field closed with that additional safety dropping into that zone. Other safety playing it deep, but man across the board all over the place. Forgot to highlight that one as well. So this is a man coverage look. And when you've got man coverage and you've only got one deep safety, well, what do you know? You've got one-on-one coverage on the outside, an entire sideline to work with. So you don't even have to look and see, hey, is he open? Doesn't matter. I don't even know how I did that. Doesn't matter if he's open or not. You're just going to put this thing out there, hope that it's accurate. And with Russell Wilson, it's always accurate. So, oh, and also this is the wild card game, just to note. The Ravens did end up losing this game. For me personally, I don't think that was the fault of Russell Wilson. No, he didn't play his best game, but he obviously, as we're seeing on the film, had some really good throws. And additionally, they were banged up. George Pickens had a terrible game. So just a couple of compounding factors. But again, looking at this, one thing that I will say from the Steelers' play design, this is a perfect route combination. I have to assume that Russell Wilson noticed that it might have been man coverage pre-snap because this play design is an absolute man beater. You're basically going to ask these two receivers to cross over one another, which is going to cause this man guy to run here and this man guy to run there. It's a lot of commotion. It's a lot of traffic for these two defenders to get through. And ultimately, it causes one of them to stumble a little bit, have to try and get over top, and boom, now you've got a window. And I mean, you cannot throw that ball any better, man. Nobody could throw that ball any better. That thing just drops in a bucket in perfect stride. This receiver didn't slow down a wink, didn't speed up a wink. Perfect stride. Like, we have not seen a Giants quarterback throw that kind of a deep ball in a very, very long time, my friends. These are plays to get excited about. So moving on here to this play, once again, we're going to get a single high safety look. And if you guys do remember the old film breakdowns that I was doing at the beginning of the season, before things went off the rails for the Giants, one of the things that we kept highlighting was when Malik Neighbors was getting any deep shots or was getting these yards after the catch opportunities, it was oftentimes against single high safety looks. And the reason being with single high safety looks, yes, they're zone, but they sometimes play like man coverage because it's a one-on-one on the outside, right? You've got that middle high safety who's going to roam across the middle of the field, of course, and help wherever he can, but his responsibility is to stay in the middle of the field. Those cornerbacks on the outside are to cover each cover 1/3 of the field. And that's a very tall order, especially when you're going up against a good receiver, or if you're going up against a quarterback who can really throw a good deep ball. Because when you're pressing, like we're seeing from the Cleveland Browns here, this press coverage creates an opportunity where if you don't jam this guy and you don't really get in his face and disrupt him, and he gets behind you, you don't have any help up here. You've only got this safety deep, and you're asking the safety to make an Ed Reed-esque play to get over to that sideline and help you out. So you're one-on-one on an island on these plays. Remember when people used to say Revis Island, and everyone's like, oh, Revis played a lot of man coverage. Revis Island played a lot, Darrelle Revis played a lot of zone coverage. He would just lock down an entire third of the field, basically in a cover 3 or cover 2, because you could do that as well. But he would just sit on a zone, and you're on an island when you're on a cover 3 like this. Yes, you're also on an island when you're in man coverage, and Revis was great at that as well. And I don't want to go too deep on a Darrelle Revis tangent, but just in this respect here, you've got these cornerbacks on islands playing this cover 3 zone that we're seeing. Or if they're playing a cover 1 man, let's say that deep safety is here. Well, now, no matter where this receiver runs, this cornerback is on an island trying to keep up with him and follow his every move and play reactionary. Playing reactionary is what cornerbacks have to be good at, but it's really tough to do. Again, when you've got no help over top, you're on this island, and you've got a quarterback back here who can really put these deep balls on the money. So let's go ahead and roll this play through and take a look. And in fact, we do get cover 1 man, which again leaves that cornerback on an island, just one-on-one coverage out here. So just to clarify, in case you guys can't see it, the way we know that this is man coverage, easy tell, is exactly what Russell Wilson is looking at. He sees this this linebacker run out with this receiver right here in man coverage, and that's always really where you're going to find the slot receiver, the slot cornerback and slot receiver rather. Because if this was a zone, if this was a cover 3 zone, this guy wouldn't get up with him and follow him. He would just sit down in the zone and let him run into somebody else's zone. That's what it would look like if it were cover 3. But because he sticks with him, Russell Wilson recognizes that, goes, okay, this is man coverage. That means I do indeed have a one-on-one shot up here. Let's just put that thing on the money. And that's exactly, again, what he does. Just drops it in the bucket. Like, hell of a catch here. I believe this is Mike Williams, but This thing just drops right over the shoulder of the cornerback, and there is no room. This sideline is an extra defender. And Russell Wilson says, okay, I've got a defender here and I've got a defender here. Well, why don't I just put this ball right here? Just absurd. I mean, the guy is one of the greatest deep ball throwers in the history of the NFL, and he's still got it, guys. I know he's 36. He's not what he used to be. He's still got that deep ball, man. Look at the window on this one. You just drop it in there when the cornerback's back is to the football. You can slip it over his shoulder like that. And Russell Wilson is the best at doing exactly that. All right, moving through some more of this film here. Now we're down near the red zone, not quite in it. This is a pretty, honestly, routine throw here for the touchdown to Pat Freiermuth. But we'll try and break down what we can here. And I think what we get is just a tremendous play design. In fact, this is against zone coverage, but this is also a blown coverage is what it looks like to me. This cornerback, so what we're going to get here is this receiver running a cop, so a corner post. So he's going to fake the corner and go inside to the post. And if this is indeed a cover two, let me actually erase that cover two, which I believe it is. We're supposed to have two deep safeties here and here. And we're supposed to have flat defenders here. And, you know, these guys just hooking all in the middle, essentially, if this is a cover two, which is what it kind of looks like pre-snap here. But what we get is this corner or this wide receiver running his cop route, and instead of this cornerback staying here, he runs with him into the end zone. And that's why you're going to see this safety try and dart and take this broken down coverage over here, but it's too little too late because they're running scissors, which is a post and a corner route combined. They're going to cross over one another. And if that confuses the safeties or cornerback in this case, which it did, one of these guys is going to break open. So now we have a wide open busted coverage here for Freiermuth. And it's essentially just read that, see the open man, and make the easy throw, pitch and catch for an easy touchdown here against the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, here we got Steelers versus Chiefs, and another just beautifully thrown deep ball. Also a hell of a grab here from George Pickens. George Pickens, say what you want about him. The guy is among the best contested catch receivers in the NFL. If the Steelers do indeed keep both DK Metcalf and George Pickens this season, they've got two of the 5 to 10 best contested catch receivers in the NFL. They are going to have a very lethal receiving core if they get a quarterback who can make some plays here. So we're actually getting a so what we're seeing here is another disguised coverage look because it kind of looks, again, is this a too deep? Is this, it looks like man coverage. So you're probably thinking this is cover two man, or, you know, some sort of iteration of man coverage is what it is anyway. But we're going to get one single deep safety here post snap. So we're actually getting, I think, a safety blitz. No, I don't really know what this safety is doing. Oh, this safety is manned up on the running back, I believe. So we're getting that right there. Notices that the running back is actually playing pass protection. So then sits and says, okay, let me sit here and kind of play this as a zone. We're actually getting a zone coverage here, and it looks like it's a cover three because we're going to get this safety rotate into the middle of the field. He's going to run up as if he's in a zone. And then again, it's one-on-one on this island. Russell Wilson seeing, hey, this safety running to the middle of the field once again, back to where I want to put the football. With his back turned to that space, he knows this is a cover three. This is a one-on-one opportunity, and this is an island. There is no safety help over top for this cornerback because this cornerback or this safety is shifted this way. So by the time he's able to flip his hips completely and get here, the ball is already going to be in the catch point. So again, throwing with anticipation, reading the coverage pre and post snap, reading what that safety is doing, and then deciding where to go with the football, and then accuracy, man. If that's the one word to take away from any of these plays, just pure accuracy. And I'm really happy that this film did include not only the deep shots, like we had that touchdown to Freiermuth, which wasn't a deep shot, that was a red zone play. And we've got this play right here on the goal line. I think this is important for Giants fans to understand. Yes, he's 36 years old. No, he does not run the way that he did in 2014-15. No, he's not the play extender that he used to be. He can still move. Like, he's still Russell Wilson, guys. Like, he's a slowed down version of Russell Wilson. But, I mean, he This is a great play here by the linebacker to actually get there and try and make this tackle, but he can't get there. Russell Wilson does score a touchdown on this play. And I just think it's important to have a play like this in this film just to demonstrate he can extend some plays. He can run. It's not a focal point of his game anymore. He's not going to kill you with his legs, but when he needs to, he'll make a play and he'll dive for the pylon and go all in for it. So I think that's a pretty good play to include in this film. All right, now on this, excuse me, play, what we're getting here, some more Russell Wilson rushing. What we're getting is a more traditional look. Two deep safeties. It looks like it's man across the board based on the way that they're aligned. We'll see what it is post snap. I believe that it is indeed man coverage. And exactly that's what it is. It's just cover to man. And as a quarterback, you need to know when you're facing man coverage, especially when it's just like across the board here, it's a 4-man rush. And it's so obviously, this is a 5-man rush rather, or it could be a spy or whatever, but it's 4 down linemen or 5 down linemen rather, because this guy's in the gap, so he's technically considered a down lineman. Essentially, I'm going a little bit off track here. As a quarterback, when you know that you're facing man coverage, you know that what you have is defensive backs downfield with their back to the quarterback, back to the football, running away from the football. So what you can do is slip away, take off, and now it's just you and the safety. If you run when all of these defensive backs have their backs to the football, it's going to be too late. By the time they find you, you've already gained positive yardage. So that's exactly what Russell Wilson recognizes here post-snap. The pocket breaks down. He's got a little bit of pressure. He understands it's man coverage. He knows, I'm going to bail on this. I'm not going to look to extend this play with a throw. I'm going to pick up some yards with my legs here. So really great read and react moment here from Russell Wilson. And we're getting that once again here from Russ. So a lot of rushing plays on this film as well. But again, trying to break down the science behind some of these plays. And once again, getting some more 2 deep safety looks, looking like it's probably a cover 2, I would say zone this time, because you've got this defender not necessarily lined up man aligned with this slot receiver, kind of in between these 2 receivers. So you're probably anticipating this being some sort of zone, but we'll see what it is post snap. Maybe he jumps over and does place a man, which is not what he does. He does sit down in a zone, but even still, I want to just take a look at this pocket instead, because a lot of fans have said, Russell Wilson's not what he used to be. He's not going to be able to play with our offensive line. Guys, the Steelers did not have a great offensive line last year. This is a simple 4-man rush. This running back, I think, is supposed to be pass protecting, is picking up nobody, not helping. We've got a whole tanglement up here and a stunt from, of course, the GOAT, Steve Spagnuolo. And what we get here is a ton of pressure. You've got to break down from the guard. You've got to break down from the tackle. And you've got Russell Wilson with a hand on him, fighting through the contact, escaping, and picking up some extra yardage with his legs. So great stuff there. He was running all over this Chiefs team, and I believe this is going to be another rushing play here. Yeah, once again, looking at the all-22 here, we can get a better example of or understanding of what was happening in the defensive play design. A lot of jam coverage there on the top of the screen on that wide receiver, basically getting thrown out of bounds. It's a hell of a rep from number 22, Chiefs cornerback. But where this guy, interestingly enough, this must have been something that they saw in the film from Russell Wilson. So maybe on another breakdown that we do later, we try to look for this and come back to it. This cornerback is pushing this receiver to the outside. This corner is pushing this receiver to the inside. So I wonder if there was some sort of tendency that Russell Wilson had to maybe throw more deep balls onto this right side, maybe avoid them on this left side. Maybe he was a little bit less accurate when throwing to that left side, and that's why they wanted to use the sideline as that extra defender. I'd be curious to see if there's any research we can do on that. But man, listen, this is a hell of a call here from our GOAT, Steve Spagnuolo. I mean, he's got this number 98 nose tackle running out into his zone coverage. He's got a lot of bailing on the blitzing here, bluffing this blitz and just bailing into a very strange zone. And I think Russell Wilson probably looked at this and said, you know what, I have no idea what's going on here. Let's just pick up some yards with my legs. And that's exactly what I would do. So again, shout out to, just make sure I get his name right, Hayden Winks on social media, director at Underdog, also including some bad here with Russell Wilson, which is crucial. I don't want to just have a glaze fest, basically, with these film breakdowns that I do and talk about how great these players are. let's look at the good, let's look at the bad, and let's make an objective analysis. Let's see what we get here from Russell Wilson on this play. What we're going to get is him throwing, I would say, with too much anticipation. This is where you're like, oh, I think this guy's going to break open. Let's fire it. Not seeing the zone defender who gets in the way and undercuts this. So let's see what we saw pre-snap and see if that maybe influenced what Russell Wilson saw. Went back a little too far. My apologies. I wanted to highlight the fact that this running back is coming in here. He was out wide, but he's shifting in. And I think what we're getting here is just a little bit of a shift, probably indicating that this is zone coverage. And I feel like Russell Wilson should be able to recognize that. I think what happened here, I'm trying to make sense of this. There's a pretty big a gap this time between these two zone defenders, probably making some sort of an assumption that this guy is playing either some sort of down flat zone or playing it more towards the sideline to help over top here. But in fact, he plays this here, and I think that this is more of a cover 4, or where you've got all 4 of them playing these deep zones, or what I think it also could be is more of just a Tampa 2, which is where they're not playing these hard flats, but they're playing more middling flats. And so the safeties rather don't have to cheat out wide as much. They can stay a little bit more central because there's a little bit more support up the sideline. Whereas if these cornerbacks were to drop down into that flat, well, now you've got a hole here. So, in between these two zones, that causes these safeties to cheat a little bit more. But when they play a little bit higher up, these cornerbacks, well, now these safeties don't have to cheat as much to the outside. So I think it was probably just Russ maybe misunderstanding what kind of zone it was. And also, I think this is a really good play recognition here from this safety, or cornerback rather, to recognize there's a seam shot here, and this is a coverage that might be vulnerable to that. Let's follow with it, create some more space here. I think Russ thinks he can fit it over him, not realizing, hey, that free safety is waiting on this one. So I think he just got baited into this. I think the coverage maybe slipped him up. Now here's another play here against the Chiefs where Russ fumbles, trying to do a little bit too much. And yeah, this is where people are going to say, hey, he's not what he used to be. And you're right, because the classic spin out from Russell Wilson, again, it used to be a classic 10 years ago. He's turning this into a miracle play. But now looks like he kind of trips over his offensive lineman. Yes, he does, but you got to get 2 hands on the football and make sure that you don't make a bad play worse. That's always the phrase with quarterbacks. Don't make a bad play worse. Unfortunately, Russell Wilson fumbling, making a sack, much worse with a fumble. And I'm also going to highlight he had an open man here. So he had a guy breaking over the middle of the field. The middle of the field is definitely open here. They're holding it open with some of these playmakers that they have running into these flats and into these wide areas in order to open up the middle of the field. Yes, this linebacker is sitting in that zone, but he doesn't see this coming. His face is turned that way. Russell Wilson should have just put this right here on that Steelers logo and let this guy run into it. This could have been a pickup of yardage. Instead, it's a fumble and a turnover on downs. It's also not the cleanest route from whoever's running it there, 81. I would probably round that out a little bit sharper. But maybe he saw something from his angle and point of view. But I don't know. I think Russ should have thrown that ball to the middle of the field. He had an open man. All right, last play, I believe, on this film. And this is going to be a throwaway, but it really shouldn't have been because he had a hot read wide open. And this is kind of where you might have some concern. The concerns that I think are invalid of Russell Wilson, the Giants fans kind of complain about, oh, he's not athletic enough. He's not what he used to be. He's old. All right, well, let's dive a little bit deeper. Like, what are we actually concerned about? What I get concerned about, is Russ used to be automatic on those quick hitters. Like, oh, the guy's open, boom. All right, boom, ball's out. And what I've been saying on the channel is the Giants really need a guy who is automatic. Like, quick route, hot read. He gets it to that hot read on time, and there's room for yards after the catch. That was my biggest gripe with Daniel Jones. Accuracy was a problem with him because he was never on time. If Wan'Dale Robinson was open 2 yards from the line of scrimmage, well, he's getting it a second late, so he's only gaining 2 yards on the play. Had he gotten it a full second earlier, he had some yards to turn up and create that. And now we're talking 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 2. right? It's a big difference. And that's always been my problem with Daniel Jones. So when I see a play like this is where I do actually get concerned, because my whole spiel here for Russell Wilson has been, yes, the deep ball is back, but also the quick passing game is back. The ball is going to be on time, and we're going to get some yards after the catch ability. But on a play like this, you actually see the exact opposite, because you're going to see this receiver run, sit down in this wide open zone. This is the hot read. This is the first player that you're supposed to look at on this play. That's how the progressions go, is hit the hot read if the hot read is open. If the hot read is not open, now you go through your progressions. But if the hot read is open, you hit the hot read. And what we get here is the hot read immediately open. And it looks like Russ sees it. He's got a throwing lane here. There's no pass rusher getting in the way with hands up. He's got a clear line of sight to this receiver. Yeah, this corner safety, whoever, is breaking down and breaking down hard, but let's be real. You zip that thing, that's a catch. And if you zip that thing on time, with this guy being so aggressive in his pursuit, what if he misses this tackle? Now you got all this yards after the catch. So I don't know why Russ pulls this thing down. This is very obvious. Maybe he's not looking here. Maybe he's looking here and he was deep play hunting. I think that is probably what's going on here, because that's been a problem for Russ, looking for the deep shot, knowing, hey, I throw the best deep ball. Let me throw the deep ball. Maybe he's not looking here. Maybe he's actually, still, again, don't know how I keep doing that. Maybe he's not looking there. Maybe he's actually looking over here and trying to see if he can hit this deep shot, but there is no leverage here. This cornerback playing this off coverage is defending this very well. There is no island, so to speak, to take advantage of. So this should have been to the hot read. This ball should have been out real quick, and instead he bails on it. He doesn't throw it. I think maybe he was trying to throw that deep ball. He chooses not to throw the hot read, and now he's scrambling, and he's just throwing the ball away. And, this is not what you want to see, especially what's the down and distance? Down and distance, we had a first down right here if we hit this hot read. So, yeah, I think that's essentially going to wrap up this film breakdown, though, and I appreciate you all tuning in for this one. I'm recording this real late at night. It's 1 a.m. where I am, but you know what? The grind never stops. I am always happy to grind the film for you all. Don't say that I don't put in the work on the All-22, because I absolutely do. And I am always happy just to talk Giants. And if you guys learned a thing or two from this, then I did my job and I am happy. Like, I just want to talk Giants, talk football, and talk about these players, analyze them, break them down, and show you guys all of the information so that when we enter the season, you already know what's up. So with Russell Wilson here on this film breakdown, I think we saw a lot of positives. Yes, we saw some negatives, but man, my key takeaways here are, let's go with the negatives first, actually. Let's keep an eye on big play hunting this season. Does he pass up easy reads in favor of playing hero ball and trying to throw deep shots and spark something? Does he pass up on those quick passing options? Those quick passing options, the Giants need to hit more of. Wan'Dale's great after the catch. So is Malik. We need to see these guys run after the catch. So is he passing up the quick passing options? That's something that we do need to keep an eye on. And the other thing, is he prone to causing or to throwing turning the ball over under pressure? Because the two turnovers that we saw were under pressure plays. So let's keep an eye on his under pressure performance and his big play hunts. But let's talk about the positives, because there were some. There were a lot. The deep ball accuracy is spectacular, okay? And there's really nothing more I need to say on that. You guys saw these throws. They were supremely accurate. The anticipation is still there. And the big one, I think, the ability to read coverages is absolutely still there. His experience has lended itself to his skill set, where he can pair his deep ball with an ability to read the field and react way before the defense is ready. Those are great things. And it's why I'm so excited about Russell Wilson. He's got some things going on here. I know he's 36. He's not what he used to be. He's still so much better than what we've had, as demonstrated by this film, which really only scratched the surface. So once again, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this film breakdown on Russell Wilson. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, comment your thoughts down below. Guys, remember, let's ride. We've got those Let's Ride t-shirts. You can check those out on the ESM store. Obviously celebrating Russell Wilson, who I'm really excited is a New York Giant. And guys, don't forget to check out the extra wallets down below in the description box. Also going to try and go ahead and pin a comment as well for you guys. Really love this product, swearing by it for real, especially the Finder's card. I think that is such a genius idea. But yeah, guys, make sure you go check out Exeter down below and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. And hey, I'll catch you all on the next one. Have a good one. And let's go Giants.